Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Jacob and Tony Show. Not really. Welcome to the Zach and Tony Show. We have a guest host, Jacob Brown, who is also a past former guest, two-time former guest. You don't cheat on the men or the ladies, do you? Yeah, basically, Zach right now is running late. He's at a Bleacher Bums rehearsal, so I've invited Jacob in to have a third voice to bounce some stuff off of. Our guest today is the great and honorable Matt Feddermann.
The honorable.
Oh, the honorable. He's actually
dishonorable.
He's actually one of the first guests that contacted us about wanting to be on the show that wasn't an immediate friend. That wasn't somebody that we saw every day and was like, hey, I really want to be on that show. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I was like, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun because we know each other and we're just going to chill the fuck out and get drunk.
I was the squeaky. Yeah. I was the squeaky wheel. Hey, Tony.
So,
I want to be in your show, Tony.
Yeah.
Let's just get it out of the way.
Hey, what's going on?
Just get him on the show. We can get him out of our hair.
So basically, Matt just came out with a new album. Was it July 19th?
Yep.
July 19th, and it was called, let me look at my notes here, Life in Whiskey Junction. It is called Life in Whiskey Junction. I heard two songs last night. As you know, I was doing my research on you last night. You could tell because I was all over your social media. I was like liking and sharing stuff. I was like, this guy's going to be on. Two songs that were on are Billionaire's Democracy. Saw the video, liked it on YouTube. Really liked it, and I'll get into what I think about it in a second. Second song, Tragedy, that I heard, which was, are those the only two songs? Is it an EP or is it full length?
It's a 7-song EP.
7-song EP.
I called it an EP, even though I could have added another song and made it an LP. But it felt complete with 7 songs versus 8.
Right. Well, the two I heard that are promoted on your website, I like a lot.
Cool. Thank you.
I love the mixing. I love the mastering. I love the way it sounds. It's like it's mixed and mastered to me from the brief moments. Heard each song about 2 times, like a musician's pop mix. But with musicianship, with actual musicianship.
I think there's an issue with music these days with a lot of records that are being made. The volume wars, let's smash it and mastering so that the quietest parts are as loud as the loudest parts. And you know what? There's a reason there's a volume knob on your stereo.
Right.
You know, part of mixing, and I kind of come from the musician world and the audio production world.
Because you used to have your own studio, right?
Yeah, and I've worked as a music producer for 15 years concurrently with my own music career. It usually takes 6 months over the course of a year and do production stuff, and then I'll do my own stuff and mix and match. But I really try to take the musician's approach of mixing. It's, I want the song to breathe. I want there to be louder moments and quieter moments. I want everything there to be an ebb and a flow and a push and a pull, and I want people to kind of go, oh, what was that, and turn it up, and then next thing you know, it kind of blows their ears back a little bit. I want to use dynamics to further express the feel of the record,
right,
and the songs as well.
Right. Stylistically on this record, was there any choices that you made differently, songwriting wise, different than your previous efforts?
Yeah, this record was originally not going to be a record. I'd been just writing songs and recording songs, and I kind of realized I got enough songs to make a record. I should put one out. I haven't put one out since 2012. And as I was going through the process, I realized, you know what, albums, they're almost not even albums anymore. It's more like groupings of singles. People don't listen necessarily to albums from start to finish.
Sure.
They kind of log in, they kind of see what the single is, and then they might hit a couple other songs.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
So I kind of said, you know what, I'm in the past as a producer and as a musician, I always tried to have continuity from song to song, like a sound of a record.
Sure.
Where all the drum sounds are the same, all the guitar tones, it's got cohesion.
Sure.
So it's a piece, it's a work.
Yeah.
This I approached very differently. I said, I'm going to make each song the best version of what it can be. And if it breaks genre barriers, I don't care.
See, I love that, and that's points I agree with you on, which is everything. But when but my last album, Edge of the Night, not the newest one, The Bad Guy, Edge of the Night, the way I approached that cohesion was through storytelling, and I wanted lyrically for it to fit, and I relied on the heavy end of the band to make those to polish off the edges and make it all be cohesive musically.
Absolutely.
For the second effort, I was like, I'm just going to write. We're just going to write, but lyrically, melodically, I'm just going to write songs. And yeah, I want them to be catchy. I want them to be poppy. But we're gonna take you through like an Americana genre of rock and roll throughout every song. It was pretty like freeing. Like you weren't pushed down by these imagined barriers that your mind makes up when you hit the studio or hit the songwriting at night.
Yeah, you almost don't feel shackled to what you've created is like, here's the brand of my band or the sound of my band.
Right.
What does that mean anymore, really?
Sure.
You know, I mean, you look at a band like the Beatles, which I think people look at the Beatles and go, oh, the songwriting is so great. But look at the progression of that band. They went from I Want to Hold Your Hand to Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club to I Am the Walrus to Let It Be.
Right.
In 6 years.
Yeah.
6 years.
6 years. 6 years. That's crazy.
Crazy to think. Why?
I've heard of cooler.
Well, the funniest thing about the record was we meaning me and my bandmates that I play with a lot, and we had launched a Kickstarter campaign because we had I'd finally put together my own band after years and years and years and years of just playing by myself or playing, in other bands that I was just a member of.
Sure.
And I put together this group of musicians that I admire and that I really wanted to work with.
For this album.
For this record.
Life in Whiskey Junction.
Before we even called it Life in Whiskey Junction, before it was even anything. And we played a show. Actually, it's almost a year ago to the week.
Yeah.
We played the show, and it was amazing. It was felt so good. So I said, I want to make a record, and I want to do it live in a studio. I want musicians playing all together at the same time, guitar, bass, drums, playing these songs together.
Instead of tracking them out one at a time.
Instead of tracking one at a time, everything to click, which we would have had a click, but that's...
Yeah.
So we did a Kickstarter campaign, and the Kickstarter thing is kind of dead.
Yeah.
My opinion.
Sure.
So when it didn't go through at the end of October last year, it was kind of like, okay, well, what do I do?
How much did you ask for?
We went for $5,000.
Yeah.
And
always hit high, try high.
Exactly. And I kind of said, and it is. And the studio, it's hard because music listeners, when Kickstarter first hit 10 years ago, people were still buying physical products.
Yeah.
It was a tangible thing that I'm going to give this person money and I will physically get this thing that I know what it is back. Yeah. These days, give me $20, I'll give you a digital download. I mean, most people kind of go, well, I can just listen to it on Spotify for free.
Right.
So that's a whole other
issue. Yeah, we'll hit on it.
That's a whole conversation.
We'll jump back. Yeah.
So I when it didn't succeed, I kind of said I gotta kind of figure out what my next move's gonna do. How am I gonna make this record? And all of a sudden it dawned on me. My studio, I've got a little studio in my house that is totally mobile. Everything's in rack cases. Everything's on a laptop. So I realized, oh my gosh, my parents. They have a nice house with wood floors.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, God, and there's snowbirds. They're not home for 6 months out of the year.
Yeah.
So I built a studio in my childhood home for 2 weeks, and we set up drums in the living room. I was in the dining room, and we just tracked an album live. I mean, I tracked all my acoustic guitar parts were overdubs. I did in my old childhood bedroom.
That's
awesome.
I did the vocals in my home studio, some vocals there, and some at Buddy's studio, and Ralph Culver's really has a great studio on the south side.
How'd that feel? And energy-wise, was there like a weird energy in the room?
It was fun again.
Yeah.
It was fun because I wasn't in padded room in the studio where they're watching the clock. It was it was amazing.
Because I'm not in the music industry at all. Usually when you record an album, I would assume you rent a space from somebody.
Well, it depends. Like my first album, first few efforts I did when I was a kid was. By the way, I'm still a kid. I'm only 22 years old. All the listeners out there know this. Not past my 30s yet. No big deal. No way. I'm not divorced. No way. No. Married and divorced, not me.
About to vote for the first time. Can't wait to vote.
Yeah. It's going to be a great time. Yeah. But my first few efforts were in houses, basements, grandma's basement.
Sure.
And we got a guy that had mics who thought he was going to school to be a recording engineer. Actually ended up going to school to be a recording engineer. Didn't know it for the first two efforts. You just kind of do it any way you can, and then you hit a point where you want to.
It is.
Be professional.
You do it. I think there's. Oh, it's such a big conversation. And
we got plenty of time.
If I ramble,
yeah.
I think that growing up, we're probably close in age.
Yeah.
Where we were, part of the MTV generation before, what was it? Napster was a really huge thing. And
Sure.
When CDs were a big deal, and you wanted to, you did your basement 4-track recordings, your recordings in the basement, you build it up, and you go to a studio, and there's kind of like this set pyramid or the set road you take to achieve rock and roll stardom or fame, fortune, whatever your definition of success is.
Yep.
And it's such upside down now.
Yep.
You look at that Gautier song a few years ago that was recorded in his parents' bedroom.
Yep.
On a laptop, and that was the number one song. He had no fans.
Yep.
But yet it was the number one song. So
That's crazy. Good example.
When you look at the progression of things, and back then you also got to remember this is pre digital technology where everyone's still recording on 24-track 2-inch tape, and so a tape machine cost you $50,000. You couldn't record at major label, and I use that in quote unquote level back in the day. But as digital technology got cheaper and better sounding, all of a sudden, home recording is as good as potentially, studio quality recordings. For me, because I have worked in studios for 20 years and I have the engineering, recording, production background, my favorite thing to do, like I did on this record, was I can record anywhere. So I can take my laptop, my interface, and my rack gear to any studio in the world and set up on my stuff and use their gear, their mics, their room, and my stuff. So I can go record drums in that studio. I'm producing a record right now for this woman named Jen Porter. Great songwriter.
Let me get into that here.
So
you're also recording again, right?
Yeah.
So you had sold your original studio. What was the name of it?
Phase Recording Studio.
Phase Recording Studio back in 2010? 2011.
Yeah.
And now, as time progressed, did you just get back into it, recording other people?
So yeah, what happened was my lease was almost up. I saw the condition of the music business as far as recording. I saw we're about to hit a threshold of, there used to be the home studio, the mid-level studio, and then like CRC and the Abbey Road, like world-class studios.
Yeah.
And quickly, as I'm watching the market go, middle class, much like the current economy, the middle class is disappearing. That middle class studio, no one needs the need. The technology's gotten cheaper and so much better that I'm watching this go away, and I'm kind of going, I should cut my losses and I should get out of the recording business, or at least the traditional brick and mortar rent studio time to make money, because I'm seeing that business model is a dying entity, especially for the mid-level studios.
Sure.
So I had a house up in the North Burbs in this little town called Highwood, and we have an old apartment above the garage. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna build a studio in the apartment, and I'm gonna close my commercial place, and I'm gonna try and take a step back, play more gigs, so I don't have to make money all off of recording, and I want to study the business for the next 3 years. And that's pretty much what I did. I did gigs here and there or production gigs here and there, but I really stepped back and said, what's the next thing?
Right.
What's it going to be? What's a business model that can work for me? And it's really heavily concentrating on production. It's not about the gear.
Right.
It's like, what can I give a band, an artist, that they can't get from somebody else? And you want to know what that is?
What's that?
My ears.
Yeah.
Me.
You.
My skill set, my talent. What can I bring to your project that this guy can't do? They may all be great at what they do. Recording is not as hard as it used to be. It's very forgiving these days. People listening on earbuds, MP3s.
Yeah.
It's more forgiving. But what can I do for you musically, melodically, production, as a music producer to get the best out of you?
Sounds like you put a value on yourself, not necessarily monetarily.
Correct.
But you put a value on yourself, and you sort of term a phrase, you bet on yourself, which is always good to do.
Correct. And I work with a lot of artists. I mean, I think as I've narrowed it down to what my real niche is as a music producer. I mean, I can produce bands, I can do all that stuff. My niche is really working with solo artists that don't have bands, that kind of come in and say, listen, here's my song, here's my ideas. How can you help me get what's in my head into a listenable reality?
Sure.
And they kind of say, here's my budget. And I kind of say, okay, well, let's use this studio for that. We can use this over here. Let's grab this guy for this. I'll play this. You play this. And we can have laptop will travel. And let's go wherever we have to go to do it.
Sure.
And it's been amazingly successful so far. people have been really responding to it, and you know, the product that I produce for my friends, they end up being friends, the artists I work with. I mean, the proof's in the pudding.
How much do you probably don't mind me asking, you're trying to sell yourself here, we're all trying to sell ourselves. How much do you charge per hour for what you do?
Here's why I don't
in that aspect.
I don't do it per hour anymore.
You don't do per hour?
No, I can't do that. I mean, if you were saying how much hey, I want to hire you to be a recording engineer for my band, that'd be one different rate, because it puts the controller, the person in the driver's seat, isn't me, which means I'm charging hourly. Now, if I'm producing a record or producing a song, where I'm kind of in the driver's seat in the traditional music producer role, where I'm the one helping with the arrangements and make, you know, the session guys, like the way it was in the Brill Building in the 50s, where you're talking about, you got a songwriter, arranger, all those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Like, I'm helping drive the force, and I'm figuring out, okay, this is good enough, that's not good enough. I would rather charge per project.
Sure.
And say, here's what you're trying to do. Yeah, tell me what you want to do. We'll talk about it, and I'll put together a proposal and what it would cost for me to produce that for you.
I like that. As I mean, I would like that if I was a solo artist specifically, and I'll tell you why. It's because that you are taking an interest. And instead of trying to get as most money out of the person as you possibly can,
right?
It's you're taking a genuine interest. Here's a lump sum. This is what I think my time is worth. But I want to have my experience shared with you. I want to have a shared experience with you.
It's sort of the same thing. Like whenever, because I work in theater, I design scenery, and it's sort of the same thing. I haven't designed anything in a while, but when I'm the designer, it's by project. But what I normally do is fabrication. That's all hourly. You know, I'm not making calls, not doing anything like that.
Right.
It's all about your time investment.
Yeah, I mean, you want me to be a recording engineer and push buttons and set mics up and you know, do all those things. I'll do that for an hourly rate. But again, you know, if I would rather hear from you, and I feel like a lot of our musicians are so used to getting hit over the head by the music industry. How much is it going to cost for me to do this? How much is it going to cost for me to do that? Oh, I can't afford that. When they come to me, I kind of say, what's your budget?
Yeah.
What do you want to spend? I mean, and is a band, a brand, an artist, if you're going to do a project, whatever it is, make a video, record a song, make T-shirts, need to know ahead of time what your budget is. What can I afford to spend?
Yep.
And if you don't have that number in your head yet, what's the most I want to spend? I don't even meet with people. I say, I'm not trying to turn down work.
Right.
Go figure out what the most you want to spend is. Let me decide if I can afford if I can afford to do that project.
Right.
Because if it turns me on, what I might charge X for this guy.
Sure.
But I really want to work with this guy, and they only have this much.
Sure.
I'll make it work.
Sure. Do you listen to Would you and do you listen to the music first before you sign on to a project? Obviously, right?
9 times out of 10, yes.
Yes.
9 times out of 10, I say, hey, everyone's got GarageBand. Everyone has an iPhone. Play and sing your song. Let me hear what you got.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and if it's something that I think I can bring to the table, like that can really help you, let's do it. I mean, I had a girl that 17-year-old girl I've been working with off and on for years. And we did a bunch of work together a couple of years ago, and I was really proud of it as a producer. But that was when she was 15, and so as you know, you get older, you grow, and you develop your own sense of style. What I did for her quickly wasn't what she felt was her image, even though it was then.
Sure.
Time, you know, you grow.
You're growing. You grow so much between 15 and 17, and 15 to 20.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So she calls me up. She says, listen, I've been working with these other producers. I'm really happy with this direction, but this one song we did together, can you take it back to the drawing board and I want you to produce it, but in this style? I said, I'll give it a try. So I thought I took this song and had done that. I gave it to her. I was beaming. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. And she's like, did you not hear what I was saying? This doesn't match this. And I said, her name is Allie, and she's insanely talented.
Yeah.
Her EP just hit. It just dropped. It's really great.
What type of music?
It's electronic oriented. It's so let me rewind a little bit and I'll get to that. Mm-hmm. So I kind of said to her, I said, Allie, like, you've got something going on and it's amazing. I'm not the guy for you. Yeah. I'm not the guy to produce. I could sit here and take your money.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to give you what you want, and it's a waste of time. I produce music primarily with live players.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Mixed with electronic stuff. I know how to do all that stuff, and I enjoy doing that.
Sure.
But so her record, when I finally heard it, like I think it came out 2 weeks ago. When it came out on iTunes, I immediately I gotta hear this. And it's not the only live instrument on the record is her voice, which is amazing. I mean, the producer she's worked with was all like programmed in Logic and Reason and various, I think Ableton maybe.
Really?
But like, there's nothing live about it. I mean, it sounds amazing, but it's so bare bones that it's just, I come from a Brian Wilson Beach Boys Pet Sounds. I want layers of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, shit. You can say
I say
shit on
shit?
here. Dude, we've said every word possible. Every word possible.
I was on 2 radio stations yesterday. I was like, stuff.
Shit. Yeah.
So I'm used to, I like playing with dynamics and layers, and she was very bare bones. So it was a great example. It was like, listen, I can take your money, but I can't give you what you want.
What style of music does she play? You said electronic, like pop. Is she a pop artist?
It's poppy. It's poppy.
Yeah.
You know, but it's new poppy.
Oh, look who just entered the M.O.M.s
snap.
studio.
Beer in hand.
Beer in hand.
Oh wait,
Zach Finch, star of Bleacher Bums.
I'll be James Manners role today.
Oh, okay,
I'll
yeah.
shut up.
Yeah, Jacob's doing a bang up job as the much smaller Zach Finch. Zach, this is Matt Feddermann, and another good man. He's been telling me about all of his basically his bio. Matt, when did we meet? Do you remember when we met? Because I was trying to put a thought to it here.
I'm gonna say, let's see. I'm gonna go to Okay, so it was a social focus show. I think you played our CD release show at Double Door on Wednesday night.
I thought you guys played our CD release show. Or was it the same show?
It might have been the same show. I don't know. It was a Wednesday night at Double Door in June, which would have been June of. All right, so
I was there.
2013.
2013.
Wait, hold on.
2013. 2012 or 2013.
No, it was 2013 because we put out a record in June of 2013. We played House of Blues for M.O.M.s Fest with
Yes.
And then
I was there for that.
And then the band broke up like 6 weeks later.
Yeah, I got loaded. I got loaded. That was the last time I saw you too.
Yeah.
Was that House of Blues show?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
No. The last time you saw that band, yeah. The last time I saw you would have been January of, let's call it 2014, when your band was playing at Elbow Room, and I came out with my video camera and shot a bunch of shit.
Yeah, dude, that's right. Dude.
That was the last time I saw you.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that, by the way.
The song was, oh gosh.
Precious Stone.
Precious Stone, yes.
Precious Stone. Yeah.
Dave was like rocking the bass. He's like, yeah, Precious
dude.
Stone. I'm like, Dave, this isn't the heavy part.
Yeah, dude.
But he had the stage moves down. Like
He still does.
I felt like I was a jackass every time I played bass. I'm like, man, that's what I should have been doing.
Oh,
Dave, you freaking showed me up.
His duck walk he's got
I haven't
this,
seen
like,
the duck
walk type thing. It's
seen
just,
that one.
oh yeah, he pulls it out both shows.
No, he just got that huge Firebird bass and just like waving it around like a big
Yeah. Oh, badass.
big dick.
Yeah, you can say that in this show.
Big cock wielding like
Yeah. This music. this is music.
Big dick music.
Yeah, so
www.bigdickmusic.com.
There you go.
it's a hell of a band.
I have to check that one out.
That's a hell of a
It's my next record, Big
Yeah.
Dick Music.
Big dick music.
EDM.
I couldn't do it. It'd be a total lie. And people would see right through it.
Just
This man's got a tiny dick. This man's got a tiny dick.
Schmeckle sounds.
Ooh, even better. That's the first singles, The Sounds of Schmeckle.
Yeah, good, yeah. A smattering of schmeckle.
Ooh, a schmattering. A schmattering of Schmeckle. That's good.
Schmeckle smattering.
Just we're
So to
jump back to where are we jumping back to?
So we totally took a right-hand turn. So
take it.
This
take
record
it.
made it in my parents' house, the majority of it, but recorded in a couple other places. And just over the course of the winter, just kept filling in all the gaps.
Yeah.
And at one point, I wasn't planning, it was going to be 6 songs.
Yeah.
And I thought it was done. It didn't feel done. I thought it was done. And
Joke's on you.
yeah, seriously, I was at one point I wasn't going to release it. I had the release show scheduled, but I wasn't going to release it. I'm like, it doesn't feel right. And my personal life fell apart in the spring. Wife and I are splitting up, all that kind of stuff. And yeah,
Mom studio high five there.
So, the deadline to get it, on iTunes was coming up. I've got it through. I used a company called TuneCore to distribute my stuff, and to get it on iTunes, like on a Tuesday, I had to have it submitted on that Friday before in order to get it up there in time on the release date. So the Wednesday before that, the Monday before that, I'm in this therapy session with my estranged, soon-to-be ex-wife, and it was when she's like, Matt, stop trying. Stop trying to fix it. I'm done.
Right.
So I was processing that, and on that Wednesday before, I just sat down. I'm like, I got to write something. I don't know what it is. I just got to write something. I had the album title, had everything. And so I'm like, maybe I should write a song called Life in Whiskey Junction. And so I just closed my eyes. I took my capo, I put it on the guitar, ended up on the 8th fret, and I just started strumming and just found something I liked. And then it's like, okay. And I just started telling the story. I met her with a frown upon my face, with an ego bruised and yearning for a taste. And I think that was the original lyric. I must admit her smile lit up my day. Excuse me.
You're good.
I felt magic in her soul. I just kind of retold the story of us. And I wrote it in 20 minutes and did a demo on my iPhone, put the phone down, came back the next day, listened to it, tweaked some lyrics, recorded it in 2 takes. I set my Pro Tools system up, my laptop on my dining room table, put a mic on my voice, plugged my guitar in, hit record. I played it twice, and the second take is what you hear on the record.
That's awesome, dude.
And it's so raw, and all of a sudden, the album was done. It felt done.
Yeah.
And I was struggling with the album artwork, and it was like, this is what needs to happen, and this is what needs to happen. We'll do this here. And it was just like literally over the course of like 4 days, it went from, do I really want to do this, to like, holy crap, it's on. Let's do this. Album's coming out, CD release show. And there's a brewery up in Waukegan called Zoom Beer. There's a beer called Whiskey Junction. And I hooked up with them, and we did the same day their new beer was coming out. It's the day my record came out on CD. So I did a release show at their place, a beer shop in Highwood, the Highwood Days Festival, because Whiskey Junction is his old nickname for Highwood, which is where I used to live.
Sure.
Or which I live, where I live now. And I did a series of like 4 shows in 3 days to promote the release of this record. Less than a week and a half earlier, there was nothing planned except this one record release show. And so it just kind of came to life.
It's fallen into place.
Yeah, it took on a life of its own. And everyone who hears the song Life in Whiskey Junction, I was proud of the other 6, and I really am. But this one that I wouldn't say a throwaway, but this one that was the least amount of production. No overdubs, no vocal punches, no fixing, no nothing, no click track.
Right.
It kind of ends the record on a downbeat. Every person that hears it goes, holy fuck.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good last song.
It's a great last song. Everyone, the best song I've ever written, I've heard. Best song on the record. It's definitely the rawest and the most proud I've been, which is, hence why I was going to make Tragedy. You mentioned Tragedy earlier. That was going to be the next video for it, for the record, but I scrapped it, and I made a video 2 weeks ago for Life in Whiskey Junction. Comes out tomorrow.
The 2 songs that I heard were the 2 songs that were live on and you've sold me. I'm going to buy your album now.
You still gotta work on it.
But the 2 songs that were up easiest to find, Facebook website, are those the first 2 tracks?
No.
The tracks are Billionaire's Democracy.
That's first.
And Tragedy.
Yeah, Billionaire's Democracy is the lead track.
That reminds me of, what did I write last night? I was listening. Oh yeah, reminded me of Feeling Wise.
Okay.
Feeling Wise. Tom Petty's Last DJ. And it reminded me of Tim Minchin's, what the hell is it called? I wrote it down. The Fence. And I know because it was slightly political. Well, very political. But not annoying. So that was kind of why it jumped up at me, especially Tom Petty's Last DJ. It's kind of this sense of like, hey, this is fucked up. I'm complaining, but I'm right. Like I'm fucking right, which is kind of always easy to take.
Yeah, well, I've heard so many. You hear political songs rarely these days. I mean, music used to be what you used to rise up against the man, and it was a way to express your artistic expression and get a point across, socially speaking. But music has been so commercialized and so popified, and that's all you hear on the radio. It almost feels like, what's the point of writing a political song and no one's going to hear it?
Right.
Because the point is to write a fucking political song, to say, I'm not happy about this, and this is bullshit. And it's not like, you are mean, or you did this to me, or oh, poor woe is me. It's like, here's the facts.
Yeah, explain it. Explain what it's about.
So the song is, the lyrics are fairly self-explanatory. It's basically kind of saying that people with, I call it the billionaire class. And I'm not even talking about the people with money. People with, that's different. I'm talking the Koch brothers.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the people that can buy politicians, that can buy elections, that control politicians through so many different methods, and which we can go into.
Dirty money, man.
Part of it.
Dirty money. Dirty money is dirty money, and it's how you use it.
It is, and politics has been so polarized. Politics in America have never been more polarized in the history of our country.
Yeah.
Where the left and the right are so far over here because politicians are so afraid of not getting reelected. Career politicians are part of what's killing this country.
Sure.
Because money 50 years ago was not like money today. Before the economy globalized, where you had so much money coming in from overseas and exports going out, and it wasn't an economic driven economy. It was a blue collar economy with, the guys that were making millions, ran steel mills, not tech companies that making millions and billions of dollars off of ones and zeros, off of nothing. They're not making anything. So the economy's changed so much. Let me reverse back. I kind of went on my soapbox there.
Go, get on it.
But I think two things need to happen that can help correct or curb this. And it's not going to be coming from who you're going to elect for the next president unless you elect Donald Trump, who is, I'll get into that too. And I'm not saying that because I'm a left or right. I mean, that guy, talk about,
No, he's a moron.
Well, the guy's trying, we'll get there.
Yeah.
So if there's such thing as called term limits.
Hey, man, you got to leave, bro.
I'm getting space.
So I think, term limits in politics need to happen. I mean, so much big money gets invested in buying politicians, I'll give you some money for your campaign, and so I can then lobby you later for my cause. And think about it. If you were a fortune or a billionaire company like the Koch brothers, and are you really going to invest millions of dollars in someone who might only have 8 years in office?
No.
You're not gonna.
Yeah.
And I think that, and the other thing that really hurt our political system is used to be a rule called, or there's a law that was repealed that was passed called Citizens United, where the Supreme Court used to lay down the law and said, listen, you can only donate so much money to one politician or one campaign, and when you do, you have to say, this is what I gave this person, this is what I gave this person. Well, the right, I don't even want to say the Republicans, I don't want to tie that party into it. The right, the ultra-conservatives lobbied Congress and lobbied the Supreme Court in some aspects and convinced them to make this ruling that's called the Citizens United ruling, which says corporations can give politicians unlimited amounts of money for their campaigns, which really buys influence.
Sure.
They don't have to report how much, and it's an unlimited amount.
Yes.
Because the Supreme Court actually passed this, which is shocking to me.
Yes.
Which means you can buy politicians. And with no term limits, you can buy career politicians.
Yeah, if you're rich.
Right.
If you got the money.
And so that's where billionaires'
we don't have
democracy
many of
came
those.
from.
Yeah.
It feels like, the wool's been pulled over our eyes is Americans that aren't in the know of what's happening in politics. I mean,
Really? Don't you think people are more informed nowadays? And
no.
You don't think people are more
No.
informed because of the internet?
No.
And that maybe...
I think they're less informed because of the internet.
I think they're
there's
less
more informed
because
with
of
bullshit.
propaganda.
Yes.
A lot of propaganda on both sides.
Because it's really
sides.
easy with social media to see a headline
make
and
a
a
meme.
photo and kind of go, yeah, what he said, and click
Yeah.
share. They won't even click the link to see what information they're getting and, more importantly, where it's coming from.
Yes.
I mean, there's a group in Illinois called the
Always vet your sources. I've gotten into this.
So many
I
people
used to
don't.
get in arguments with people by being like, hey, man, even if it's something I support, I'm like, hey, man, or gal, you need to, vet your sources here. Look at your this is a disgusting meme. And even if it was true, why would you be posting this? This is like a horrible. You're posting a dead kid. Like that was the one that really hit me. You're posting a picture of a dead kid and it's not even real. Well, but the kid was dead. I mean, but it really hit me wrong. She posted a picture of a dead kid like on Facebook with a meme, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, I support your cause. I completely support your cause, but what are you doing, posting something so horrible for like kids and family members to see, and also.
Did you hit like?
Yeah, no. I just got in an argument. I just got in an argument that they didn't see where I was coming from. They didn't understand that all I'm asking is to be like before you post a picture of a dead child, maybe see if it's true.
Right.
It's
funny. It even goes beyond just the meme thing, which I totally get, and people do it all the time. There's websites that are set up that look like actual news sources, but it's all paid for. Yes. By one side or the other. There's a group called the Illinois Policy Institute that when you look at it, at face value, it's like, well, it's the Illinois Policy Institute. It sounds official, and what they're saying must be true.
Sure.
But what you're reading is their version of the truth. A version of the truth that reflects their values and the propaganda that they're trying to push out to people.
Sure.
But people that quick glance, they don't spend the time because we're in a click and share world these days. No one has time to really click it and vet out. And even if they vet it out, how do you know who's paying for it? How do you what message are you sharing that somebody's paying for you to share that message?
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Money is everywhere. Yeah. So the advent of the internet and having people be more informed and less informed. Do you think that it has been a reason why the political lines have been so divided for the past 8 to 12 years?
I think that's a big part of it.
There is less bipartisanship.
I think that's I think the lack of bipartisanship or the lessened bipartisanship comes back to the concept of, well, I can't agree with you if you're a Democrat and I'm a Republican, or you're a Republican and I'm a Democrat.
Bro, you're speaking my language.
I can't agree with you primarily because my party says I'm not supposed to.
I'm not supposed to.
And if I disagree with you, my Republican constituents that elected me aren't going to re-elect me, and I want to be here in Congress for 40 years so I can get my golden parachute and retire, making 6 figures a year.
The idea of a team, when teams in politics, and I have dear friends, best friends, who they take a side, either side. I don't give a shit. People are people. Take your fucking sides, or on the issues. But then they'll elect only what's in blue or only what's in red, and they won't take a look. They won't veer from either side, even if the other side has something fairly logical and sound to say. They won't even look at it, and that person's a scumbag, and all they'll do is look up dirt on that person. It's absolutely insane. It's like when you walk down the street every day, right? And the hate and vitriol that they speak about certain politicians that, they've never met, and they might very well be assholes. But the hate and vitriol that they speak about them is like, if you saw this person on the fucking street, they'd shake your hand. They'd probably be a nice guy. I don't know.
One of the funny thing, you're right.
You're not voting on the issues. You're voting on the person who is on your team.
Yeah,
it's like you got this
decisions
team
based on these teams. And I would say the exact same problem with politics is the exact same problem with organized religion.
Oh yeah.
And everything you just said applies to that.
Yeah.
My team, my religion, my church says this. No matter, this guy who is on a different team might be an insanely great guy, but you will refuse to listen to what that man says or woman says no matter what, because your team says no. Mm-hmm. Yes. That's wrong. Yeah. That's the enemy.
Yep.
And like the organization of idea, especially big ideas, is part of the problem that America has, in my opinion. It's an amazing country. It's an amazing place to live. It's got all these freedoms, we have freedoms that many countries don't have. But the organization of deep-rooted thought and beliefs it's going to kill the country. It's stopping the progress of the country.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, well, it's
the
that
judging
phrase
of other people. No, I can't like what you like because you're a blue and I'm a red, or you're a Catholic and I'm a Muslim. Or what, seriously?
Yeah,
we're all people. Let's have a brain. Make your own decisions for you, not what the church or book is telling you.
People love teams and people like to win
because it's easy.
It's the easy route. Yes, it is.
It's easy. That's my soapbox. I'll get off.
Whatever. Get on it, get off it. Well, it's good to have somebody who's slightly
It's a
informed.
hop on, hop off
Usually, it's just me and Zach. We're pretty dumb, drooling troglodytes, as we say. We just kind of like
big time.
wax poetic on memes. So and we get angry and red faced about stupid people, and we don't do anything about it. Don't do anything about it. Unlike a person in this studio right now, Matt Feddermann. Matt. Ooh, Matt. Also, I have no idea what it is.
Tony.
Is it? Matt also happens to be a city alderman.
Oh, yeah.
Can I bring that up?
Are you?
An elected official.
Now you know why he speaks
Are
with
you?
such passion about politics.
I am.
So you are a elected official, city alderman for the city of Highwood.
Highwood.
Excuse me. I'm not from Chicago originally.
Okay.
But how far out of the downtown city area?
It's about 20 minutes north.
No, it's not far away at all.
No, it's not. There's two very affluent communities on the North Shore. Highland Park
Yeah.
and Lake Forest.
Yes.
We're this tiny 1 square mile town in between the two.
Yes.
A lot of restaurants, a lot of bars, a lot of cool old masonry homes.
Blue collar.
Very blue collar.
Yeah.
Which is why I love it. Because it's real. It feels like some really fun, hip north side neighborhood plopped down right in the middle of the North Shore.
Is that where you live now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to come up there with you and we'll catch a few drinks.
Blast.
Yeah.
I'm with the alderman right now.
I'm with the alderman. Could you please? Could you? Is it just put it on the alderman's tab?
Come here.
Yes.
Oh, Alderman Feddermann will pick this one.
I like 6 schlitches and 6 shots of Malort. Yeah, I actually love Malort right now. When I first moved here, it was.
So you're the guy that likes it?
Oh man.
See, I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No, I heard a rumor that it was a guy that actually liked it.
I think somebody else said that joke. I think it was my bassist Dave Aiken.
That beady
You're
music.
right. I stole Dave joke.
I have no idea.
Sorry about that, Dave.
But
Truth's come out. I'm a plagiarist.
yeah, no, it just sounds like Dave is full of like dad jokes, like where it's just
It's
like.
amazing how much we've talked about Dave and he's not even here.
Oh, I know. It's a shame. You know what? Fuck you, Dave. I'm gonna stop talking about your dumb ass right now. No, I love the guy. So
You can think about him. It's okay.
yes, Dave, I love you. You're so pretty. Dave, you make me happy in the good spots.
You and your big firebird bass.
You got a big firebird bass.
This isn't right.
What?
This is pretty messed up. How long have you been an alderman?
Yeah, that's what I want. Why did you even run, and why did you want to?
So I kind of got involved as a volunteer for the city. The city has a lot of different festivals and garlic festivals and pumpkin festivals and beer festivals and Bloody Mary festivals. And I kind of got involved because I was the music guy in town. And like, hey, we need help booking bands. You know, lots of bands. Can you help us out? And so I did. And as a volunteer after 2 or 3 years, I got to know the city council pretty well and the basic workings of the town. And one of the aldermen had moved away, and the mayor called me up and said, hey, you know, we have a vacancy. I can appoint you if you have any interest. And this was like January of 2013. He's like, well, you know, the election's coming up in April, and he's like, if you run for the election and maybe you'll get elected. So I ran. I was appointed for 2 months and then ran unopposed and ended up getting elected, which means since no one ran against me, I needed at least 1 vote.
No shit.
Yeah.
Did you vote for yourself?
I did.
Yeah.
Damn right you did.
I did.
Hell yeah, you did.
I did. I
I
cleared.
would.
I
I absolutely would.
Yeah, I would vote for me too.
How'd you end up running unapposed? It just nobody wanted the
He
job.
murdered everyone
Yeah,
else.
nobody wanted the job. I mean, Highwood is an amazing city with an amazing history and an amazing amount of tension and stress as it's trying to find out who it's going to be in the 21st century.
Sure.
Because it's one of the oldest communities on the North Shore. It's been there longer than Highland Park, Lake Forest. I mean, it sprung up around Fort Sheridan Army Base. You know, after the Great Chicago Fire, they built Fort Sheridan Army Base because all the wealthy people said, well, if we have another fire, we need the army to get down here. If there's civil distress, we need to have a close-by base. So it kind of sprung up around that with bars and restaurants and little houses. And it's very, very old. And it just hadn't been really updated and dealt with, you know, infrastructure issues. And, you know, everyone's related to everybody. And, you know, so there's some nepotism and issues that kind of grew from that. And so I think the council that, the previous council before I was involved, there was a lot of tension, a lot of fight. I mean, you go to a council meeting, it was like watching a WWF wrestling match, a UFC or something, just knock down, drag out, yelling at each other. I'm kind of going, wow, this is like a 1 square mile town. How are we fighting this much over change? And that's really what it was over. It was like, what's the town going to become, and how's it going to help itself and fix itself? I happened to get on board at the right time where some of the other councilmen didn't run anymore, and there was a seat open, and I was young blood, and I was respected in the town, believe it or not. Me, Mr. Long-haired beard dude. And no one ran against me, and I actually got more than 1 vote, believe it or not.
Nice.
There you go.
I got like 4.
Yeah, perfect.
Hardest part of the job?
Making hard decisions that you know are the right decision, but that you know are going to upset people.
Yeah.
Because they can't see the bigger picture. It's because sometimes we as aldermen are privy to information that the public isn't.
Yeah.
So we're making decisions, public decisions and policy decisions, knowing what the next 10 steps are going to be, but we can't talk about the 8 of those 10 steps.
Yeah.
So with the limited information the public gets, it all becomes public eventually. It's not some hidden secret society. I mean, every meeting's recorded and everything, but
There's a ritual.
sometimes there are things that, as we're trying to negotiate different things that you can't talk publicly about. And we're kind of going, if you only knew we have this, that, or the other coming down, you'll understand what we're making this decision today. This little decision today, it's not that big a deal. You're blowing out of proportion because we're going to get this huge thing over here.
Specifically, maybe like a financial cutback, or
Yeah, one of the biggest ones that when I got on the council, we were looking at ways we needed to save money because the city was spending far too much money.
That's a big thing in Illinois.
On a tiny little city.
Yeah.
And we kind of found a way to save like a lot of money quickly. We looked at our little city of 1 square mile that's literally sandwiched in between. Like we don't even at 41, we don't hit the lake. We're completely surrounded by either Highland Park or Lake Forest. And in the communities in the suburbs, there's something called mutual aid, where if someone calls the fire department or police department, if your department can't respond to it, Lake Forest will come help us, or we'll go help Highland Park if they're busy.
Uh-huh.
We figured out, well, what if we hired Highland Park to be our fire coverage? Because there's a fire department half a mile away from Highwood.
Right.
They frequently have to go through Highwood to get to other areas of Highland Park.
Right.
So we kind of calculated we were paying $1.5 million a year for a 1 square mile town to have a fire department.
Whoa.
$1.5 million a year. Or we can hire Highland Park, which is
For half that.
a better accredited fire department with better response times for $600,000.
Yeah.
More than half that.
Yeah.
But the public, all on the ballot, all it says is you have to pass a referendum. The public has to choose to close a fire station in the state. And all the referendum can say, the ballot says, do you agree to close the Highwood Fire Department? It doesn't say because we're going to be able to hire and save money.
Right.
So
Yeah.
when we announced
okay.
when we announced that, people lost their mind. Like, what are you doing? You can't get rid of the fire department. I mean, what's wrong with you?
Right.
And so we had to spend 6 months of like talking people off the ledge.
Right.
But we were talking, what I was saying, sometimes we have to have conversations not in the public eye. We have been talking to Highland Park for over a year off the record, because if they're not into it, we're not going to make it.
Yeah,
to
you're
the
not going
public.
to announce it.
We're not going to announce it, because if we said we're talking to Highland Park about this, all of a sudden everyone's going to come out in droves. No, you can't close the fire department. What are you thinking? So it's kind of trying to make those decisions. And even when it came out finally that we were going to we were going to put it to referendum and ask the public to close the fire department so that we can contract out to Highland Park. Even then, it was like people losing their minds because they didn't understand the full ramifications. So we're planning websites and pamphlets going door to door. Like, here's what it actually means. Mm-hmm. The day of the election, it won in the vote was a landslide victory.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you
because we worked our butts off for 6 months from the day it was announced to the day of the election.
hit the pavement, went door to door,
Absolutely.
shook the right hands.
We had town hall meetings to really explain what it was about. And, it's hard. As a councilman, it's really hard when someone comes before the council and says, you're trying to destroy the city. You're wrong. What's wrong with you? You're a bad person. And it's kind of, well, my kids live in the city too.
Yeah.
I don't, it's not like don't live in the city. Like, the decisions that we make, your elected officials, you elected us.
Right.
We live in the city too. They affect us too.
Right.
So you can't as cavalierly just say, well, it's your fault, or you're trying to screw us. It's like, why would I screw myself?
Yeah. I don't even, yeah, very
But
interesting.
it's so easy to forget that when people get impassioned.
Yes, yeah.
And it's when you get impassioned, it's like sometimes reason gets thrown out the window in politics, in anything.
In a small town like that, is there less a political divide between the Republican and Democratic side, and more of just a side of I'm running on these issues and I'm running on these issues, and
it's definitely not left and right. It's really like, here's what's going on in the town. Here's what we need to fix.
Right.
Here's bigger picture. There's no partisanship.
Yeah.
I feel like some of those
in
are more
local government.
personal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You really get into partisan issues when you're trying to get a large base of voters to elect you to state government, federal government, where you need to, mobilize the right or the left to get you elected, because you need that base and that money to get you elected, versus local politics where you're going door to door and you're asking the neighbors that you've known for 10 years to sign a petition saying, hey, I think I can do a great job because we need to have this fixed.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat or conservative or liberal.
Right.
It's, wow, yeah, we need to fix the sewers.
Right.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Let's change it.
Yeah, we need to fix this.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Let's go back to music real quick.
Yes. Hold on.
When's your Alderman album coming out?
Yeah, dude, an album with just Alderman or
gonna call
the city councilman.
The Alderman.
Yeah, I remember. I've been dying to ask you about that since I first heard that. So, I think someone told me. I don't even think I heard from you. And I was like, what? Like, is he allowed to? He's a musician.
It was funny.
I was like, he's a musician. I played. If you
roll
know
shows
me,
with
are
this
you
guy.
allowed to run? If you know Tony, are you even allowed to run and be elected for anything?
I think one of the funnier things was it was at that House of Blues show that the Social Focus, my old band, had played, and I think you had said you were there. Brian Bender gets on stage, is like, you're never going to believe that this guy right here is, and he had made this big announcement.
Right.
Like, I was this alderman. It's like, okay, from this tiny little town that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, truly.
Exactly. Literally.
Yes.
It's real to me, damn it. It's
Yes.
real to me, damn it.
Yeah, man. So yeah, well, the music part.
Yes.
How have you been? We kind of went through this, and touched on it a little bit. Like, you went through your divorce.
Yep.
Like,
Still going through it.
and
but-
that influencing your music. How have you been? How'd you handle it? If you don't mind me asking. And
No,
everybody out there
yeah.
knows I went through a divorce. And
it was
it influenced my music. Well, it influenced my drive.
Yes, and I would say that, had you asked me that question a year ago, I'm not getting divorced. What are you talking about? We're fine. Everything's great.
yeah.
Now I think it's really easy to ignore signs when you're with somebody for a long time. It's easy to not see issues because you're comfortable. It's part of the day to day. I mean, I was at that point, at that point I was married for 12 years. I mean, that's a long time, and you kind of fall into grooves and ruts. And this past spring, it was made very clear to me that she was unhappy, and I thought I was happy. I thought I was happy.
Sure.
And when she left, and we did the therapy thing and the counseling thing, and between June, May, when that started, and by midsummer, it was clear that it wasn't helping. And so it was kind of like, okay, well, and then in one of the meetings, she said, just stop trying. I know you're trying, and I get it, but I'm done. I don't. She's like, what did she say? She doesn't have any fight left in her. I think was the quote she said. And that statement kind of stopped me cold. I'm like, fight in you? Why? We're married. You shouldn't feel like, you shouldn't need fight to keep a marriage alive. You need trust. You need companionship. You need honesty and communication. But if your marriage feels like it's a fight to keep it going, not a struggle or it's hard. I get that. It ebbs and flows. But if you feel for 2 years that it's been a fight for you to keep it together, no, I'm not. I don't want to fight for someone who doesn't want to be fought for and be here.
Right after my divorce was a song I listened to on repeat constantly while getting drunk, which was Beck's "Fighting for a Lost Cause," and it goes, "I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of fighting Fighting for a lost cause, man alive. That makes you drink a lot of whiskey.
Oh, hell yeah.
That song made me drink way too much whiskey. Like in a bar, no one's there. I'm like, jukebox time, repeat. It's my sister's old bar.
Tony's here to play.
Tony's here to play back on repeat. Like some Sam Cooke put in there. But yeah, it's even when it's a good thing, and it was a good thing for me and for her, it was it was a struggle because it was admitting to failure, and that's really hard for anybody. So
it is very hard admitting failure and defeat. I think it can be even more complex when you take into account that we also have a child together.
Yeah,
and the decisions we make to stay or not stay together radically affect another human being that has no choice.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, how do you finish this in a way that you walk away going almost like, all right, we did it. High fives. I think it's your phone.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
What I said earlier.
I thought it was me yelling into the mic.
Wow,
man.
I think, like, how do you walk away from this as amicable as possible? We don't have our relationship is ending because we didn't have the cardinal sins. I didn't lose the family fortune. There was no physical abuse, no mental abuse, no raging cheaters, all those things like, I can't be with this person. It was just one of those, like, there's something underlying. We have for some reason can't communicate. We can't communicate to each other what our needs are and what we want are, and neither one of us could figure out why we couldn't do that. When we got together, we were in our mid-20s. Insanely attracted to each other, and lust is powerful, and lust can carry you a really long way.
Yeah.
But if once the lust wears off, gets pushed to the side when reality sets in. Oh, we got to clean the house. I got to go to work. I got to take the kid to school. I got to do that. Reality trumps lust after a while.
Sure. Absolutely.
That can come and go, and I think we got to a point over the last few years where it ebbed and flowed enough. The pendulum swung enough. The pendulum swung over here, and it just didn't come back.
So you were saying to me in Facebook Messenger that the first thing that happened was you started really pushing towards music again. Like,
yeah.
Did that take a few weeks, a few months of drinking, of wallowing in self-pity, or was it an immediate thing?
I wish I could have had the wallow and self-pity thing, but I got a 10-year-old daughter that I can't afford to do that.
Yeah.
So what do I do? What's my escape?
Yeah.
What's music? It's my guitar. It's what I've always done.
Yeah.
It's get it. If I can't get it out in a bottle, I'll get it out in a song.
Sure.
I think that's where Life in Whiskey Junction, the song, came from.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of new songs that I've been working on, and they're all kind of bubbling under the surface. And I think that what the separation had done was made me was me by myself again. And it's like, well, who the hell am I? Am I happy with where I am right now? As who I am, who I've become after being together with a person for 14 years?
Yeah.
No. I mean, you make sacrifices in long-term relationships. That's what you do.
Yeah.
I think we both made sacrifices that we didn't realize we were making that were detrimental to our own individual happiness.
Yeah.
Because we were so eager to please. And I think when you're young, you don't recognize what you need yet.
Yeah.
And I think when you get a little bit older, you get in your 30s, you kind of go, oh, I need this. And so the separation has really made me figure out who I am again. And I'm working on getting back to that. But it's funny, since that part of my life has been put on hold and is ending, and I've gotten to a point where I've compartmentalized that to be over here on this side. All this creativity has been flowing, and so many opportunities that once I could just be me again, quote unquote,
Right.
have happened. I mean, I'm here. I have a new record out. All these opportunities have been popping up, both as a music producer and as a performer, that I feel like I'm not doing things differently, but the results have been different.
Sure.
So, am I sad that this marriage is ending? Yes, I am.
Yeah.
I think we both are. I think she would say the same thing. We're both sad that this is ending. Yeah. But I think in our hearts, we know that it needs to end, and it's going to be for the best.
Sure.
Because we're going to be friends. I'll always love her.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's not nasty. But I also know that I can't be what she needs. And I think that She knew early or sooner. She knew sooner that I couldn't be what she needs. It took me this process to figure out, like, wow. Mm-hmm. And I don't think she can be what I needs. What I need. Because we're just built not to naturally do that. And it's not in our normal day-to-day stuff. And it's that day-to-day stuff that I think kept, butting heads. And again, when lust can trump that, but after a while, lust doesn't trump that anymore. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But again, that's us. And with a kid, we really wanted it. How do we make this amicable? How do we, not hate each other?
Right.
We figured out, even though we were not great communicators when we were together, since the separation, it's been amazing how much more we've been communicating.
Yeah.
And how much easier it is.
Because there isn't a pressure to keep it together.
No. Yeah. It's like, well, here's what's happening. This is happening, and that's happening here, and I'm doing this, and I'm going to a concert with this guy tonight, and Matt's going on a date over here, and I got the kid this night, you got the kid that night, and it's, we're splitting custody, so it's like there's no, like, you're paying me alimony or I'm paying you alimony. It's an even split, so I think it'll be okay.
Well, talking about the deep issues on the Zach and Tony show.
Yeah, we went deep.
On the Zach and Tony show, it's a slight departure. I like to get serious, but usually we keep it to the dick and fart jokes. But
I like a good dick and fart joke.
I like a good dick and fart joke, and I like a good serious conversation too. It's interesting. I want to get to know the people that are coming on, and I want to get to know what makes them tick, and because the majority of the time I just realize people are people. What makes you tick is pretty much the same thing that makes me tick, and we're all going through the same problems, but we all have vastly different ways sometimes of handling them and taking care of them.
What was your song, by the way, that you mentioned earlier? The back song that you listened to?
Fighting for a Lost Cause.
Fighting for a Lost Cause.
It's a great song.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, me and Zach, while I was working at his office, we were writing an episode for our web series, and A Bit Touched, coming out soon. Coming out really soon. Yeah, small little plug. And we went downstairs to the sandwich shop, which is, Zach, what the fuck is that place called? Potbelly. Small little sandwich shop. Small little sandwich shop.
What's the name of the sandwich shop? Jimmy John's.
Mom and pop place. Mom and pop. Totally mom and pop.
Totally.
Subway.
Subway.
It's French.
A Pizza Hut. So, yeah, dude. And it was delicious. But the guy was playing it, and I was like, I stopped myself from ordering a sandwich or midway through a conversation with Zach, and I just looked over at the guy, and I was like, oh man, there it is. I had to tip him. I tipped him $1.
He was playing it?
He was playing it live inside,
nice.
What was it called?
A
Papele.
Papele.
Yeah, Fighting for a Lost Cause.
Lyric.
Yeah, we'll pull it up right after the
It's not
conversation.
really a song, but I think of Bluebird, Bukowski's Bluebird.
Oh, it's a great Me Too, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I listened to that a few times when I listened to that with you a couple times.
Yeah,
I put it on.
Silent Ride.
Yeah, when we're driving around, we were talking about the serious issues, and yeah, Bukowski's Bluebird.
Mm-hmm.
Do you cry?
Do you know that?
I do.
Yeah.
Do you cry?
Fucking great.
It's like shit.
Zach doesn't know.
Nope.
Fuck you, Zach.
It's great. It's a great poem. There's a bluebird in my heart. There's a bluebird in my
I don't have
heart.
it memorized like y'all do, but I'm familiar with it.
Oh, you didn't come prepared.
I didn't concur or get the memo.
We're gonna pull the whiskey out afterwards and listen to that and cry. Or do we? Do we cry?
We'll make Zach cry.
But he's still in there. All right, well, let's put a pin in it here, and we'll come back to the next time you come on, because you'll be on again. I had a great time with
Thanks
you.
for having me, man.
So the name of the new album is Life in Whiskey Junction.
Available on iTunes, Spotify, and Pandora.
Oh my God, everywhere. The name of the man is Matt Feddermann. He's been in a lot of bands, he's made a lot of music, and he's made a lot of his own music, and he's produced a lot of music.
And goddamn, his constituents love him.
His constituents love him. He's a fantastic guy. He's a nice guy. He's a genuine human being. He's very open, as you could tell. All I have to do is prompt the guy, and he'll give me more than an essay on his life. No, it's great. continue being an open and honest human being. Be genuine. It's great to have a conversation with a person like that. It makes me feel like less of an insane person. Also, Matt last night was just on Pretty Late with Patty Vasquez on WGN Radio. You have been doing a lot of cool shit, man. You've been doing a lot of cool shit, really promoting yourself. Do you like promoting yourself under your own name, or do you prefer a band name or an entity?
Until recently, I was always my ego wouldn't allow me to be like, oh, Matt Fedderman's the greatest guy ever, or let me promote myself. It was so much easier to promote a band name. It was a name you can hide behind. So when you were promoting it, it didn't feel as self-serving.
Sure.
Even though it was.
Well, of course it is. Yeah.
And for years, after the Social Focus band had kind of disbanded, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do. The drummer from Social Focus and I had this band called Monsoons, this project, I should say, because, we have to have a name for this new project. And it got to the point where it's like, I'm spending all this time meeting people, networking as me, performing as me in the burbs. It kind of got to the point, it's like, well, I just have to be me then, I guess. I'll make the brand, quote unquote, me. And if it lives, if it works or fails, will work or fail as me.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to sell me and who I am and what I do. And I'm just going to put my name on it. And it's not the greatest name ever, but it's me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's kind of what it got to. So a couple of years ago, more like a year and a half ago, I really kind of said, okay, I'm going to take the plunge. And I, hired a graphic designer to make some branded images and some graphics. And I said, I'm going to really see if I can put out a record and do all these specific things and make a video and think about the process that goes into it. And there have been missteps, but, book my own tours, do all those kinds of things because, hell, if I don't do it, no one else is going to do it.
Sure.
Oh, that's my motto.
Yeah, me too.
So,
that's recently, past 2 years has been
yeah.
my motto. It's like, I got to do it because if you don't do it,
no one else is
what are you just
going
going
to
to sit there and
if I
bitch
don't
about
know,
it
no
the
one
entire
will.
time?
I go on Craigslist sometimes, once in a while I'll go in the gigs section because just to see what's happened. I'll search term music. Songwriter or singer looking for a manager to help take me to the next level. It's like, you don't go to Craigslist to put an ad for someone to take me to the next level.
Was he 12?
Also pick for pick.
And then they would have, right. Include links, and it's like, oh my gosh.
Yes, Craigslist. All right, well, let's do this. I already promoted your stuff, but we're going to promote it one more time. I'll go first, then Jacob will go. I'm going to push Zach in here to see if he has anything to promote. No? Nothing?
I mean, give me the mic.
All right, cool. All right, as always, go to mancallednoon.com to hear everything you need to know about Man Called Noon. We got,
what's going on with you, Man Called Noon? Let's talk about that for half. I know we got to wrap this up.
Oh, okay.
What's going on with the band?
Okay,
plug yourself.
I don't know. Well, it's right now.
Last time I heard Mr., you're telling me, oh man, you've got so much great shit going on, Mr. Fucking playing House of Blues, the fucking 10-piece band.
Yeah, well,
I haven't played House of Blues with my 10-piece band.
He kept scheduling shows the day I would leave the city. So every single time I left the city.
So we're getting shows that we want, and we're getting good shows, and we want to keep getting those shows that we're getting. And then there's shows that we don't know how to get, and we don't know what to do to get them. And that's what's keeping me up right now. Is like
House of Blues isn't big enough.
Well, not well. It's big enough for sure. But some places don't need to be big. Like Shubas.
I need the
whole
city.
I send an email a week to Shubas.
Is Matt still over there?
I don't know. No, I haven't been emailing him.
Okay.
So he might be.
I don't know.
But
he used to be there, but
cool. But it's like stuff like that. 'Cause like stuff like I get obsessed with goals, and trying to find a way to accomplish those goals. I'll wait. It will put me into a decent depression, but I love it. It's like I get wrapped up in it. I want to try and find a way to crack that egg. And right now it's certain venues and trying to find the right way to get into those venues, which can be it can be a little, because you know what it is, like you said, you don't want to sell yourself under your own name, Matt Feddermann, or you used to have that thing because it seemed a little self-serving. Also, going to a place like Shuba's and emailing and like, whose dick do I have to suck? Well, I gotta tell you, I don't really like sucking dick. Like so it's like I want to shake your hand and know that like we're I do actually pretty decent. But I just want to be straight up. I want to be honest with you. Like, this is what I can do for you. These are my numbers, and hey, book us. And I have that for some venues, a lot of venues, and for other venues I don't.
I just have a question about that, and I've been struggling with this for years for myself.
Yeah.
Given the way the live music world is, and in the concert world, especially in Chicago, the home of cover bands and tribute bands. What is the attraction to Shuba's or a Metro? The reason I ask, they put their listing in the local newspapers, but they're not promoters. It's not like it used to be where they're promoters promoting that you were going to be there and they support the bands. So their business model is hiring bands to bring the fans in to drink.
Right.
So really, we as bands are the gatekeepers now.
We're the promoters.
We're the gatekeepers.
Yeah.
There's an illusion that Metro, or I like Joe a lot and I like Matt a lot. I'm not discrediting. They've got a great thing on them. But by and large, let's use the word venues, bars. For years, they were the gatekeepers. They were you can or cannot play my place.
Yeah.
People want to be there.
Right, because people are going to be here anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't exist that way anymore. You are bringing your own fans to your place, so wouldn't it be cooler? What do I get? I'm going to go to a venue X that everyone wants to play.
Yeah.
So I can say I've played there?
Yeah.
Or if I'm bringing the fans out, well, fuck, let's go rent a warehouse somewhere and have a party.
Portion of it. Well,
because I'm not going to get any new fan. I never got any new fans from House of Blues or Double Door or Metro. Not one new fan from any of those places.
That made me think, because I remember talking to you at sometimes when you were
fans come from friends of fans.
They ask you how many people you'll be bringing in.
Yeah, what's your draw?
Yeah,
if I hear that, when I call a place, if they say what's your draw, I hang up on them.
Really?
No, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what's your draw? No, seriously. My job,
I know. No, it's a good question.
My job is
I've heard this before.
Make my band as well known as possible. And with the internet, it's funky because I can get people to know who I am that aren't part of my social network, right?
Right.
That might be part of yours.
Right.
So if I'm getting in WGN radio, I'm getting in the Tribune, I'm doing my job to make my name and my brand known. Your job is to promote the hell out of the fact that I have this name here that's been promoting. What are you doing to get people to my show too? I'm working my ass off to get people to your bar.
I completely agree with you.
And yet you're keeping all the money.
I can.
Well, we put a flyer up.
Explain that one to me.
I completely agree with you. But you don't think a part of that is putting on the show at that venue? I mean, having a good venue with a good name allows you to create, I think, just as you're saying, just a small portion allows you to add and create your personal entity in a bigger and more influential way by playing specific areas.
I get what you're saying,
yeah.
and that does make sense to me. But given the business model that I've seen these venues do, and again, I want to name names. I'm sure we've both played this place a lot where you're going on a Saturday night and you're one of 8 bands. Where get on, get off, get on, get off, get on, get off. When was... that's one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or...
That one might have got picked up. That one might have got picked up for the mic.
That's fine.
You said Tony's basement.
Or don't beep it out. I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's just fact. I mean, it's just fact. I mean, so when you say like, oh, but doesn't playing X Club help get people out? It's like, really? Come see me play for $10 for 25 minutes. And I don't have a sound check. I can't get the stage the way I want. I can't do the show the way I want to do the show.
Sure.
To me, if you're want people to come out, put on a show.
Right.
Make people walk away going, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I agree with you.
And that takes prep time. That takes extra time that you don't get at a venue.
I agree with you.
A traditional venue. Unless you are big dick swinging like we're a famous band.
Yeah.
But most of those famous bands have label support, radio support, and big money behind them.
Yeah, we're just doing their impression of big dick now.
I get both sides of that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I just think that playing some of those venues with the names that we are talking about, it helps add to the luster of this image that you try to cultivate within the Matt Feddermann or the man called Noon. You know, it's like, I've played there, and that's all it is. It's like, oh, I've played there, and it was a good time, and that was it. Or it was a shitty time, but it adds to that image, that luster. Like, yes, I played these places in this place that is my city. Other than that, yeah, I think you're completely right about.
I mean, if it's about getting
much
fans,
everything you said.
It's a moot point, in my opinion.
You're not getting fans there.
No, you're not.
You're not getting fans.
It's maybe a notch in your belt, but I feel like the notch on the belt in 2016 is not the same notch in the belt as it was in 1996.
Sure.
Or 2006, for that matter.
Sure.
Just my opinion.
All right, cool. Let's well, yeah,
wrap it up.
Man Called Noon.
Whoa,
These are great.
okay.
I am playing with the greatest group of people
That's
I've
awesome.
ever played with.
That's fantastic.
Like, we enjoy going to practice, all of us, and it's the least stressful it's ever been. The songs are coming out like crazy, and I've never enjoyed more trying to conquer. It's not conquer. It's the wrong word. Trying to reach my
Totally
goals.
dumb.
And I have pride in it. I get to work with this big guy over here all the time on things like this, which also, they're not mutually exclusive. They help each other. The podcast helps the band. The band helps this podcast. His band helps this podcast. It's been a good time, and I'm just working with friends, and I feel pretty blessed about it.
It's awesome.
Yeah. So again, in closing, go to mancallednoon.com to learn all you need to know about Man Called Noon. Go to our Facebook page. Go to our everything YouTube page. If you want to learn more about the Zach and Tony Show, well, go to our Facebook page. You can learn more about me and Zach. Our web series, A Bit Touched. Our podcast, The Zach and Tony Show. And he helps co-produce the Man Called Noon web series, video web series. 1 man, 2 beers, and 3 questions.
Beep, 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 beep.
And then, Jacob, what do you got? Anything cool coming up for you?
For me?
Mr. Fabricator?
No.
Zach,
All
you
my
got
cool
anything?
stuff is done. All my cool stuff is done.
Come over to the mic.
Yeah, come on.
So, Bleacher Bums is at, where is it? Pride Art Center. It's the Cubs play. So if you like the Cubs, come see it. If you don't, because it's gonna be real boring, except for me. And then I wanna plug their comedy show. Finley Dunn's open mic every Tuesday, but they do a monthly showcase. This one's actually on next Tuesday. Only it's at the Bug House Theater. It's with this guy,
This guy.
Mike Super, who's a finalist on America's Got Talent. He's actually the best illusionist in the world, supposedly.
All right.
Calling him a magician would do him a disservice, they say. And this is at Bug House Theater on Irving Park, 1910 West Irving Park. I want to give a shout out to Drew and Pat and those guys.
Cool. All right, excellent. And Matt, give it to us.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
What do you got?
Let's see, gosh. New record's coming out, or new record's out. Visit mattfmusic.com.
Yep.
Try to make it easy. New videos coming out in the next couple of days for the song Life in Whiskey Junction.
Yep.
I just got the final cut actually tonight from the video directors.
Awesome.
Friggin' great. Lots of shows coming up. Just visit mattfmusic.com. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The Holy Trilogy.
Yeah.
Holy Trinity, I guess is the better way of saying it. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Dude, it's been an absolute fucking
It's
pleasure. Jacob's mic was out for a portion of this podcast, but you know what? Fuck
had
you and
so
fuck
much
me.
to say there.
We're not very good at
Never
this.
gonna know.
So, but until later, don't work too hard.
Don't stop working.
There we go. All right, peace, y'all.
You're up to go out tonight. I'm down if you are too. You're carrying all the hate. I'm carrying a grudge I got to lose. On a walk to get to the ride. You're all screams in the night, but nothing is a return. Just the echo and what it learned. Oh, come on, let's just dance tonight. Because everyone is lonely in the modern light. Well, oh, come on, let's just dance tonight. Because everyone is lonely in the modern light. 2020, but you're always mad dog when you're out of money. Before we get to the door, a long drag of smoke that I roll. Because outside the club, everyone's cool and quietly smug. Oh, come